Unbeknownst to man, for thousands of years he has shared his world with another and altogether different race. There have always been signs for those who cared to see them. A scurrying black shadow, an inhuman scream from the sewer, scuttling shapes at the back of a cellar. All these years these creatures have worked away in secret, burrowing beneath the world of man, undermining his great cities, infiltrating his sewers and cellars, and joining all up in a vast, world-spanning labyrinth of tunnels and nests. These creatures call themselves Skaven, and they are Ratmen, the mutant spawn of an older age of chaos and mutation. Doubtless one day the Skaven will be ready to emerge from their tunnels and wage open war upon mankind. For centuries they have been content to feed upon his ruins, to seed plague in his cities, and spread contagion amongst his lands. At least they were content to wait and watch, for now everything has suddenly changed. Now the destruction of Mordheim has created new opportunities in the secret war against mankind. Since ancient times, the Skaven have searched the world for the stones of power that men in their ignorance called Weirdstone, but which Skaven have long since known as Warpstone, Blackstone, or Seerstone. It was a result of gnawing upon this magic stone in ages past that commonplace rats began the slow process of mutation that spawned the Skaven race. Weirdstone is quite literally in their blood, for they feed upon it and make use of it in their foul sorceries. Until now, the Ratmen's search for the Weirdstone has been difficult and time-consuming, as the stone has grown increasingly rare. But now a new and abundant source has appeared, a dark blessing from the skies.
For the Skaven of Clanmission, this is an especially opportune time for such a thing to happen, for just as the Empire is divided, so the Skaven race is divided amongst itself. Yes. Clan fights clan the world over, each struggling for domination of the Council of 13, whose masters rule the Skaven race. Mordheim's secret is not yet revealed to all the clans, or else the city of the damned would already be overrun with Ratmen. The Knight Masters of Clanmission is keen to guard the secret, and for this reason has not yet sent his multitudinous armies into Mordheim. Instead, he has sent small warbands of Skaven skittering through the secret tunnels into the city to gather up the shining stones and bring them back to the clan's nest.
The Skaven of Clanmission are supremely adapted to their task, masters of the art of bringing silent death to their foes. They are skilled in the use of poison and trained in 1,000 secrets of the assassin. Since birth, Skaven warriors practice martial crafts in the ruinous temples of the Horned Rat, their ever-hungering and hideous god. There are none better amongst their verminous kind to gather up the treasure of Mordheim, but they must be silent, swift and efficient. Were rival Skaven clans to discover the secret of Mordheim, they would come, not hundreds, not thousands, but millions upon millions to contend for the Weirdstone in the city of the damned.
Of course this Skaven exists.
Hey folks, my name is Leif and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel called Devs and Dice. Today I'm going to show you what steps I took to find, assemble, paint, and plan out my Skaven Warband for Mordheim. And as usual, I'm going to show off the final result on my Mordheim board with some final thoughts. Before we get into it, I want to ask you a small favor. If you like the content I make, then please consider subscribing. It's a small click for you, but it means a lot to the future of this channel. With that out of the way, let's get cracking. The first choice is for many people Skaven Night Runners from Games Workshop. They will be updating these models with the new ones from Skaventide. Kings of War offers also some nice minis for your Skaven Warband. Getting your hand on the classic minis is of course an option on eBay, but that will cost. For 3D printing, Vae Victis just released their version of Skaven. Mammoth Factory have their Vermin Horde, which are awesome minis. Manuel Boria have these simpler but quite stylish minis. And finally, we have Salad Miniatures, which has done a quite nice rendition of Skaven. But my feeling of nostalgia won over, and I went with Night Runners and Skaven Rat Ogres kits for my minis. Now, this, in all honesty, was quite a gruesome process, and I'm not going to show you all of it because then we would be here all day. I did kit bash my own Eshin Sorcerer using some of the sprue to make that nice Skaven sigil. The process really was quite gruesome, as I mentioned, and in all earnest, I redid these models I think 3 times, and the trick of it was the posing. If you pose these Night Runner models as default, they become quite hard to paint, at least for me. But I tried to use some sprue goo and basically open up their pose so I could have access to their center body mass much easier. And if that wasn't bad enough, after washing them with some Agrax Earthshade, I got some white weird residue. So I turned to Army Painter and their dark tone just to get a new shadow in. Another paint that I was gonna experiment with was the Oozing Vomit from Army Painter. This I used on my Assassin Adept's blades to signify that they're poisoned. Now for me, I wanted the heroes to be clearly set apart, and for me the heroes have some sort of red detail in their wardrobe. Giant rats were actually a kit from North Star Military Games, so I think it's originally meant for Frostgrave. But I'm kinda happy with the final result of these. So when it comes to making a Skaven Warband, there's many thoughts, and this was really my first crack at designing my Skaven Warband. Now, the rules for Skaven are similar. 500 gold crowns is per usual, but they can have a total of 20 Skaven warriors, and they can have a whopping 6 heroes from start, which I would recommend. Again, looking at the exploration chart, you get more die to roll, and that maximizes your chances to get nice loot. When it comes to henchmen, you have your verminkin, your giant rats, and the rat ogre. The rat ogre will cost 210 gold crowns, which is honestly a future goal to say the least. The strengths and weaknesses of the Skaven, I think, is their quite low leadership, but they have high movement, and I wanted to adhere to that. So I'm thinking of having troops that are very much focused on ranged combat, but can fight close combat. My warp fire, I just roll up there, will give my Eshin Sorcerer some means to destroy from range. Now, life has been busy, and this process was anything but pleasant because I had to redo the Skaven 3 times. I want to thank my patrons for being patient with me, and a special shout out, of course, goes to my champion and legend level patrons. So thank you Agrisomnia, Andreas Winberg, Arjen Angenent, Bo Ahlgren, Fredrik Kiersgaard Lund, Gunnar Byström, Jason Chastain, Lawrence Davis, Magnus Solberg, Teddy, Urban, Battle Corgi the 7th, Niklas Swedenlind, Oliver Granlund, Stephen Carpenter, and the Elder Kine. If you want to watch more of my videos, then YouTube recommends that you should be watching this. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.